ready for Boston College?
Let's
Let's
go.
get it.
You see.
And shout out my brother for being in the comments too. He said football is back. Let's go. Shout out him. So boom, Boston College. They lost the guy that was tearing apart the ACC, Thomas Castellanos. But they're coming off a 7-6 season where they lost the Pinstripe Bowl 20-15 to Nebraska. Almost came back and won that. They returned 12 starters, 5 on offense, 7 on defense. Some starters include Lewis Bond, wide receiver, 67 catches, 689 yards and 3 touchdowns. Reed Harris, wide receiver, with 17 catches, 486 yards and 4 touchdowns. Turbo Richard, who's not a starter, but he was a contributor for Boston College. 35 carries, 278 yards, 5.1 a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Grayson James returns at quarterback, who ended up starting after a while after Castellanos left the program and Castellanos got hurt. He was 106 from 166, 63.9% completion percentage, 1,202 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 3 rushing touchdowns. They returned KP Price at safety, 85 total tackles, 51 solos, a sack, 5 pass breakups, and 2 picks. Davion Crouch at linebacker, 77 total tackles, 34 solos, 2 sacks, 4 PBUs, and 2 forced fumbles. Quintavious Hudgens at DN with 14 solo tackles, 31 total, 3.5 sacks, a pick, a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. Their biggest loss beyond Castellanos is Donovan Ezeruku, 80 total tackles, 37 solos, 16.5 sacks, a pass breakup, 3 forced fumbles. He is now on the Cowboys. Castellanos, like I said, he's now on Florida State. He was the quarterback who went 99 to 161, 61.5% completion percentage, 1,366 yards, 18 touchdowns to 5 picks, 194 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown, like I said, at Florida State. Kai Robichaux is a running back who had 175 carries, 744 yards, 4.3 a carry, and 10 touchdowns, who went to the Lions. And they lost Kari Johnson, a DB, 34 total tackles, 17 solos, 2 pass breakups, 2 picks, and a touchdown. Coming into the season, they had the 69th overall recruiting class, 67th in transfers. Talk to me about Boston College before we get into the transfer class. Oh, go ahead.
Boston College is, the biggest thing. Can you hear me?
No, I said Ace, but you jumped in, so go ahead.
Oh, my sorry.
Go ahead, Dave. Do your thing. Go ahead. You jumped in. Go ahead.
All right. They did hire Jordan Thomas as their defensive coordinator this year. They lost Donovan Ezeruku this year as well. Their overall recruiting class was last in the ACC, so they didn't have a really good recruiting class, and they didn't have a good season last year either. So that's just, I don't really have too much to say about Boston College, but they got new uniforms now. The uniforms supposed to be, supposed to look a lot better. So they got something to celebrate.
Some would say 7-6 at Boston College is pretty solid.
Yeah,
they won a bowl game. Oh no, they lost the bowl game. They went 7-5 and lost the bowl game. So I would say that's solid for Boston College.
I think 7-6 is a really good year for Bill O'Brien's first year. You know what I mean? Like, he still doesn't have his handprint like cemented in that program yet. So I think that's very good for a first year. As far as what I think about Boston College, I think losing Donovan Ezeruku was definitely a big loss. We're going to have to see who can fill that void, because he was the ACC Player of the Year, right? Am I not mistaken?
I believe he did win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, so losing that in itself is already hard. I am very interested to see what's going to happen with their quarterback battle. They have Dylan Lonergan coming from Alabama, a former 4-star recruit. And then they have Grayson James, who took over mid-season last year. And, he did a pretty decent job. Like, they kind of pulled it together after they pulled Thomas Castellanos. And, they had some hard-fought games. This is the team that can show discipline at times. It's the team that is pretty resilient, and they're going to be competitive just because of who their coach is. So I think that always gives teams a chance, at least, to shock somebody on a Saturday, because, football is definitely a game of any given Sunday or Saturday, whatever time you walk on the field. Yeah, and beyond that, I think that they are also bringing back some veteran experience in the trenches. So that should definitely help give them a little bit of leeway, because Bill O'Brien is a quarterback guy anyway. So I kind of feel like as long as he has a guy who's back there who can process the game pretty fast and can make good decisions and sling it, sky's the limit for real.
Yeah, so I do want to touch on the quarterback situation real quick. I'm not the biggest Grayson James guy. I do think he was okay last year. I do think Thomas Castellanos might have been slightly better just because of the dual threat aspect. But Grayson James, I think he does have to develop a little bit more as a passer. I didn't really like too much of what I saw at FIU before he came over to Boston College, and like I said, he did okay at Boston College this season. But if Bill O'Brien can develop that passing a little bit better, Boston College could be in a decent space. Um, I also want to see who's going to be the running mate behind Turbo Richard at running back. Because last year they had three guys. They had Turbo Richard, Kai Robichaux, and I'm blanking on the third guy that came over
Jordan
from Kansas
McDonald.
State. Was that the guy that came? No, Turbo Richard, I think, came from Kansas State. It might have been. Can't
I think
remember.
it's Jordan McDonald. I know that's another guy who is expected to step up this year.
Yeah, I can't remember who else, but they had like three guys at running back. So I'm interested to see that, and I want to see the philosophy that Bill O'Brien has at Boston College this year. Are they going to drop back and slang it? Are they going to be a run first team? What are they going to do? So I am interested to see how they do on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively they'll be solid. Again, like you said, somebody has to step up and replace 16 and a half sacks, which is crazy. I don't think one man is going to replace that much production. I think it's
No
going to
way.
be more of a team thing. But I think defensively, Boston College has pretty solid defenses of teams pass, so not really worried about that. But the quarterback situation really scares me for Boston College this season. But we could talk about some transfers. So in steps VJ Wilkins, who transfers in at wide receiver from Campbell, who had 38 catches, 510 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Onye Nwosi transferred in off the edge from Valpo, 38 total tackles, 18 solos, 2.5 sacks. And Vaughn Pemberton transfers in at running back, so could be the running mate that I was talking about for Turbo Richard from Ball State. 61 carries, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4.5 a carry. So solid numbers there. So anybody else got anybody that they wanted to highlight from the transfer portal of Boston College?
Other than VJ Wilkins, I ain't really got it. Well, I do like Ela Boykin, who was another transfer that they got. They did get a transfer from Alabama, quarterback Dylan Lonergan. So I think that may help them out. But like I said, I'm still interested in the quarterback competition that's going on there. So I mean that's really all I can really say about them. As far as their transfers, they didn't really have much of like they didn't have any 4 stars, any 4 or 5 stars. So it's not a lot of high talent that they got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And along with the quarterback, they also brought in Ty Lockwood from Alabama, who's like a tight end. I think he's like 6'5", 240. Like maybe he's not a world beater, but a guy with that kind of size, maybe they have a package for him or something where he can take advantage in the red zone or something, because that was an area that Boston College struggled with a lot last year. They were very bad in the red zone. So along
Yeah,
with figuring out who's going to be the guy with the quarterback battle, they also need to figure out how to be more efficient down there.
and maybe their defense might improve too, getting Jason Hewlett Jr. from Michigan. So we'll see how that bodes well for them too.
Trust me, I remember
Mhm.
against when we played them, that red zone offense saved us because they could have won that game. But we also had some turnovers. We're not talking about MSU, but I just remember that red zone offense not being the greatest. But so I got
Yeah.
some low numbers real quick. They were tied 90th in total offense, 55th in total defense, 99th in passing, 60th in rushing, tied 67th in scoring offense, 109th in passing defense, 22nd in rushing defense, but tied 53rd in scoring defense. But let's get into the schedule. The moment people have been waiting for. So Boston College, they start off the season with Fordham. I have that as a win.
When
Win.
At Michigan State, I'm going with an L. I think we get our revenge. We shouldn't have lost last year. We fumbled like the opening kickoff at halftime. That pissed me off. I have a loss.
Carl, I'm with you. I have a loss too.
I have a loss as well.
All right, cool. I ain't got to kick y'all off. Next, we have at Stanford. I have a win.
I win.
I have a win.
Versus
Might be
Cal
a
at
hard
home.
win, but I win.
You think it's gonna be hard?
I think that's gonna be easy W.
I mean,
I
it's
hope
at
that's not.
Stanford. That's what that's
I
the
get
only
you.
thing
I
I'm
get you.
thinking.
The time zone difference. I get you. I do. Get
I
you.
got no faith in Stanford. I'm sorry. I got that as an easy W.
Hey, they later in the
Respectable,
schedule.
and we'll get there.
Later in the show. We have at home against Cal. I have a W.
Same.
I have a W too.
All right. On the road at Pitt, I have as an L.
Same.
Yeah, I have it the L.
At home against Clemson. Now, mind you, 2 years ago, the red bandana game, it was a real close game. Florida State had to pull it out late. I have it as an L though.
Yeah, I got
New jerseys aren't enough.
This is not the red bandana game this year, but I was just throwing that out there. I have it as an L. At home against UConn, I have it as a W.
W.
Yes, W.
Then I'm not gonna lie. At Louisville, Notre Dame at home, SMU at home, Georgia Tech at home, and at Syracuse, I have all as L's.
Same. We got the same thing.
Yeah,
I got
we all have the
L's.
exact same record.
All L's.
So that leaves me having Boston College at 4-8, 2-6 in ACC play, taking the under 5.5 wins for Boston College.
Yeah,
sir.
And the red bandana game for anybody that's wondering is against SMU. That is the red bandana game this year for Boston College.
Well, they're gonna lose the bandana.
Interesting.
They can.
I think they lose the
They
red
might get
bandana.
mauled in that game.
Yeah, I think that game's a beating
Mauled?
too.
Oh, yeah.
I do get it though, Ace. And hey, look, like I said, 2 years ago, Florida State, everybody thought Florida State was about to run through them, but it was the red bandana game, and they literally escaped from that game. So I get you.
No, I mean, look, this is why we love watching college football. Anything can happen. Nobody's ever wrong for a prediction.
I feel you. So that concludes Boston College. We move forward.